Hey everybody, welcome back to Sergeant's Talk TV. Big Mike here.
Normal size Jason over here.
Yeah, Byron up there called you medium size.
Oh, did he?
He
Nice.
called you medium size on the
Well,
first comment of the night.
yeah,
Yeah. Hey, I pinned up at the top. If you want to come up and join us on panel, we invite you to come up there as we always do. Tonight we're going to be talking about new news. Have you ever seen uh, the Kelsey brothers new news? I guess they got that coin, so we can't use it. But anyway, we're going to tell you what's going around in the services, and then we're just going to chat with you guys tonight. I got Terry's got a big day tomorrow, taking her to her surgeon, and she's getting the bandages and stuff taken off, and this overpressure suction hose that's taped onto her scar. All that stuff's getting taken out. She did take a walk today. She went out, checked the mail, across the street, and then she went back and got the eggs out of the hen house. So she's feeling much better. I think it's the tape that's really giving her problems, because they got that whole region taped up down there.
Oh, yeah.
And before she went in, of course, she got herself a medical haircut, and it's not feeling good right now with that surgical tape on there.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the worst part of anything like that, right? Is
Yeah.
the bandages, the not being able to like properly hygiene, like I mean, the discomfort in itself.
Well,
But
yeah.
the lingering facts of everything else that's going with you. I remember when my son was first born, my youngest son was born. He was actually born with a cleft lip and palate.
Yeah.
And they had this retainer device. So, he's got a hole in his lip right here. Well, they had this retainer, and that hole had a post that came out. And the whole point of the retainer was to close that gap, because it was the whole, basically, if nobody doesn't know, the roof of his mouth didn't finish growing together.
Right.
He actually had a 13.5 millimeter gap. So basically from his nose to the back of the throat was a straight shot. No roof of the mouth, nothing. Well, so this retainer, the idea was to close that gap before they did surgery. And it did. It got it down to like 3 or 4 millimeters. Like, it was a really, but the most annoying thing was you had to take a rubber band and fold tape in half on each 2 rubber bands and pull them and tape them to his cheeks on a newborn. It was I think that was the worst thing for him, which luckily he's so, he was a newborn. He doesn't remember any of it, but he was not a happy baby over that. So yeah, the whole medical tape. Oh
Yeah.
I'd hate to have to worry about it now with all this hair.
Yeah.
So well, first off tonight, guys, we're glad that the Sergeant Major is doing much better. She's not quite ready for that, full on hard PT yet. So we're gonna keep her on light duty for a little while. But happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Yes.
To everyone that served, especially for the family members who supported them during the service. And thank you for your service to all of our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
So with that being said, let's say hi to everybody in chat.
All right.
I know there's some veterans in there too.
That's right. Get this up to the top. There's Byron and Brenda Hulk. Welcome in to medium size, Jason.
Okay, I'll be medium.
We're going to put them up there.
Absolutely.
And Colin, we can't forget Colin.
Never forget Colin. He might be out building a snowman right now.
It's snowing up there, isn't it?
It is. We got out in the nick of time.
Oh, wow.
There is another veteran and his bride, Jerry and Susan, Butler Family Farms. Thank you for your service.
Ricky Smith over at Veterans Landing.
Absolutely. There's Dana Mason. We know for sure her dad was a veteran. Mike Terry, hope everyone is having a blessed day. Doing well. Tim and I are here lurking. Much love. Well, we love you all.
Yeah, they're on their way to Georgia. He's got another visit with his oncologist. So they're heading that way. He's got an appointment in the morning. So yeah.
You know, and it's funny. I sit here and think about it right now, and I think about Tim and Dana, and a lot of people keep telling us that, you know, Tara and I are the most traveled couple out of anybody that's out there. Like, we got more miles than most people.
Yeah.
And I always try to think like Jesse and Lisa, like they're traveling all the time, but I'm pretty sure Tim and Dana got all of us beat on the mileage covered this year.
No doubt. Hey, there's our favorite female Marine. There's Dawn over at our flippin' farmstead.
There she
Good to see
is.
you.
There's our brother, Eddie, Devil Dog, down there.
Debbie Droxton here. I seen the picture on Facebook of your granddaughter in uniform. Thank her for her service for us.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
And
there's Chris. Sup, Chris?
There is Karen Herkey, the beautiful Karen Herkey.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you. And thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. There's just Kathy, not a wandering gypsy.
Yep, our veteran friend there. There's our Air Force brother, Webb's Webb. There is Ralph. Welcome in. Let's see. I think. Oh. Yeah. Yes, and happy Veterans Day to you also. There's Barbara Castile.
There she is, I'm sure. Yep, and right below her. They timed that perfect. Ray's right there with her.
Yep. There's Ray.
Good to see you, Ray and Barbara.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks. Hold on. Dawn says, I'm going to click on it a second. Hold on. She says she's got something important to say.
Then come on up.
Says, rah, rah, rah. Crayon's good. Rah, rah, rah. LOL.
There's the dog catcher. Yes. Jesse and Lisa is the ones that go to Grants Pass.
Absolutely.
And,
speaking of them,
our veteran friend Jesse, there he is. Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa. Welcome in. Yeah, they say they're always on the road.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a veteran buddy, Marine buddy that you know, he was always a tank leader and stuff when I was in. And him and his wife, he's a Marine veteran. She's a pretty sure Air Force veteran.
Yeah.
And two vets in a van. And they travel a lot. And I think we still probably beat them on mileage. But Dana and them definitely got us all whooped.
And we can't forget the 10th, yesterday. I see J.D. Vance and his wife dancing at the Marine Ball in D.C. I think they're over at the Naval Yard or wherever the heck the Marines are at over there in that area. So, yep, and our vice president is and will always be a Marine.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think I made it to the bottom. I drove to Memphis from Oregon and back once, passing through Arkansas on my way. All right. So there you go, guys. Hey, to get started on this news thing, one of the big things that's going on is the USS Gerald Ford left the Mediterranean. They left all the destroyers and everything in the med, and they're headed, or they may be there already, to the Caribbeans to increase our forces down there. But the USS Gerald Ford Carrier Strike Group, the Flat Top, departed this week from the Mediterranean Sea, will leave Europe and the Middle East without an aircraft carrier presence while concentrating on naval firepower in Latin America. Although it's unclear when the strike group will arrive, because Trump and them ain't giving out no secrets. Right. Even though they ask him, and he says, "Why would I tell you?"
Yeah.
Because you got to remember something. During the Gulf War, we had satellites over there just to carry the news, because those news guys were embedded everywhere during Desert Storm, and we were getting all our updates. We're going, if you weren't in the command update briefs or the battle briefs and stuff like that, you just turn on the news and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." And I mean, they televised the heck out of the Gulf War, if you remember that.
I remember watching it. Yeah. It was all over the place. Well, and of course I knew I wasn't old enough to be in during then, but my uncle and my cousin were over there during it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember watching quite a bit of, and it was a lot of footage. Like, you couldn't turn the TV on without seeing something about it.
Yeah. Well, the strike group will arrive in the U.S. Southern Command area of responsibility and surge the naval forces, because right now 20% of all our naval forces are in the Caribbean right now. That's some serious shit.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about, I don't know what the exact numbers are, of how many we have, but to say that 20% of all of it is going to be in there, they know something they ain't telling us.
Well, we've got a full carrier strike group in there, and now they're bringing in another flat top to augment that whole thing. And then they've got the Air Force have repositioned planes, Puerto Rico and places like that. The F-35, they're sitting down there. They also they moved some bombers from Whiteman Air Force Base. They're within strike distance, or they could take off from Whiteman, eat breakfast, take off from Whiteman, hit their targets, come back, have lunch, and get ready for the next morning. You know what I'm saying? That's deployment for the Air Force, and thank God for them, right? And then we got the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's down there with their big boats and stuff like that.
Right.
So we've got a lot of firepower setting down there. Now, don't listen. You go on YouTube and you see all these stories. It's all made up crap.
Yeah.
Okay? It's all made up crap. The White House, the government, the Department of War is not going to tell you nothing until after it happens.
Yeah.
Okay? Loose lips sink ships, and that's what they're going by. So.
Well, they should. You know what I mean? And honestly, your general population, the American public, can't handle to know, that whole, what was that from that movie? You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
They don't know how to process it. And I think, unfortunately, in today's society where everybody's so damn soft, they would lose their mind if they knew a quarter of the things that we actually did.
Yeah.
The stuff that they don't put out publicly, and it's not even a fact that it's top secret or classified information. It's just you know what? There's certain things people don't need to know.
Yeah.
And that's how the U.S. military needs to run.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be public knowledge. Like, we're protecting our own assets, right? We're protecting our own country, right? Everybody that wants to bitch, moan, and complain about how horrible it is here, but they're defending that right to keep them safe anyways.
Yeah.
So they can keep changing their diapers and do all that stuff. So
Yeah.
to not put some of that stuff out, I think I only had one experience dealing with an embedded reporter, and that was when we were in Iraq in 03.
Yeah.
Worst experience ever. I never thought like about fratricide or anything like that until then. Like that dude, I literally threatened him with bodily harm. I'm like, if you do not walk away from me, you're going to be another statistic.
Yeah.
Like, because they badger you for so much information, right? Stuff that they know they're not allowed to even say it, but they're going to try anyways. And
Yeah.
then they twist it. So by the time it does make the airwaves, they've got it so twisted in, oh.
Well, then after that, then you become a target,
Right.
okay, from the chain of command.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Hello there, Rebecca Touched by Yarn. Welcome in. There's our friend over in the Philippines, Merns Pacquiao. Speaking of the Philippines, I just read, and I didn't have this on the list, I just read it today, that the U.S. and the Philippines have put a joint task force together of 60 military people, and they are studying together. I guess what it was trying to say, was they're working together to develop a plan to monitor and try to control China and its movement within the waters around the Philippines. So I don't know what that means, but they did release that they started it. It's going to be tasked by a one-star U.S. general, and they're going to be, I guess whatever their defense department is in the Philippines, that's where they're going to be at. And their whole job is to monitor, keep the president informed, the Secretary of War informed of all movements of China within the seas down there around the Philippines. So that's something. Shit.
Yeah. Well, definitely more eyes, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole thing was we need to have eyes. That's why we're so spread out. Not all of our forces are here in the United States. They're spread all over the world, and that's for a reason, quick reactions. And then a lot of it is just observation. Let's know what's going on.
Right now it is. One of the things that I found out about the canal zone is China has built two basic seaports on each side of the canal. And they're saying it's only for freight and stuff like that to come through. I don't know where they're at, if they let it go that we're going to take back over the canal or anything like that. I haven't heard anything new on that, but we'll keep our ears to the radio or the TV and try to find something out when it does change. But I haven't heard nothing since Trump came into office. So,
right.
Hello, Lynn, the Farm Okie.
Hi, Lynn. Always good to see you in here. No, I did not go to any of the Marine Corps balls. I had a couple different invites to go because this year being the 250th Marine Corps birthday was a really big, momentous. But for me, honestly, as much as I love the Marine Corps, it's always going to be in me. It's always going to be part of my life. My daughter's wedding was way more important. So we chose, with it being that weekend, to go do that, vice go do any kind of Marine Corps ball stuff.
I went to one Marine Corps ball.
Oh, really?
I wore, the black tux and everything with my medals and all that stuff. I didn't know I had the mini medals because I'm a civilian now. And then I had them put on, and then later on I found out that you could get them made where they're all connected. You just push them in instead of trying to line up metals and crap.
Oh, yeah.
Pain in the ass, but everybody's going. People were walking by, they're going, "What the hell? What is that? What is that one?" Drunk. Hey, what's that one right there? I said, I was in the Army. What the hell are you doing here? I said, I was invited.
Yeah. No, and I did see some there. There was a big one out on the West Coast. Big first Marine Division one that went on and had quite a few of brothers I served with out there that had went to it. So I'd seen some photos coming from that, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some of them, wore their blues, but a lot of them were in the suits. That way we don't have to shave our beards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I used to wear all 18 medals and stuff like that, but then I just went to just deployment and stuff like that. I just put those on there, the highest ones I got, and I left the rest of them in a box somewhere. I guess I don't know what the hell I did with them. Terry's pissed off. She goes, "How do you serve, and all your medals and everything is in a shoebox in the back of the closet?" I said, "Well, I know what I did. I don't need to put all that crap up on the wall." And I don't put nothing on the walls. I mean, I put stuff that people give me and things like that, but all my, all your certificates, I got a book. It's actually one of those large white military binders.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about. And I have from the day I enlisted all the way through, but it's categorized like NCOERs, evaluations, awards.
I've got it. We always call that, what do we call that? The I Love Me book, right?
Yeah.
But it has everything in there. Because as you get promoted more and more senior, you need some of that stuff more readily available.
Sure.
Yeah. And it just made sense. And yeah, I've got the same thing. I don't even think Tara's seen most, if any of it, really, because it's always been in storage.
Yeah.
We do we've talked about that. At some point, I'm probably, when we get the main house built, do an I Love Me wall or something in one of the rooms and be able to put all this stuff, the plaques and all that, different awards and whatnot, put those all up on the I Love Me wall and give something for the grandkids to look at. But I see Sister Denise is popping in right now. She's enjoying her free dinner at the Golden Corral.
Hey.
So, and then got herself a Veterans Day tattoo.
All right.
I know I thought about that today. We had talked about that last week, about a lot of the places for the free meal for Veterans Day and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, should we just go to town? And then I realized I didn't want to people. So I was fine sitting at home and eating day-old chili, which tastes better than the first day anyway. So, so, all right. So the next cool thing in the news, and I was actually, I'm not sure how to take this one yet. It's really
I
cool.
wouldn't know how to take it if I'm on the bird.
Yeah, well, that was the part of it that really threw me off. So, a soldier flies the drone Blackhawk from a tablet in training for the first optionally piloted helicopter. Okay. It took less than an hour for an enlisted Army National Guard soldier with no past aviation experience to train to fly a Black Hawk helicopter during a training exercise this summer, according to the utility choppers manufacturer. Less than an hour with no flight experience.
None.
One, it's just proof of how freaking smart people are today, right? With technology, I guarantee this is a guy that was born with a cell phone in his hand, and has used technology every day of his life. But in an hour, So he was a sergeant first class. He was not in the cockpit. Instead, he flew the aircraft remotely using a tablet in the U.S. Army and Black Hawk maker Sikorsky's first real-world soldier-run test of its optionally piloted Black Hawk. And they just released this on Thursday. Training occurred in August as part of the National Guard's Northern Strike exercise up in Michigan, during which some 7,500 Guard forces from 36 states trained for 2 weeks with the latest military tech, including drones and electronic warfare capabilities, according to the National Guard. During the exercise, the non-commissioned officers flew the optionally manned Black Hawk, or OPV Black Hawk, from the deck. So there's another acronym you got to learn. From the deck of a Coast Guard vessel on Lake Huron, according to Sikorsky. Using the tablet, the soldiers instructed the helicopter to perform racetrack patterns over the lake while soldiers inside. So this dude is flying it. There's soldiers in the back of it performing resupply parachute drops some 70 miles away. It marked the first time Sikorsky's Black Hawk conducted a mission entirely planned and controlled by soldiers.
That's crazy.
70 miles away, there's dudes in the back, the pilot seat's empty.
Yes.
And they're just rolling their... No. Not me.
I think that this is the first step to eliminating deep strikes, or making deep strikes and eliminating the loss of military personnel's lives.
Right.
And then in my mind, I go, the next thing they're going to do is they're going to be working on like an F-35 or a bomber, a stealth bomber, to be remotely controlled by somebody in the military on a tablet, going deep into the enemy side and taking out stuff, making strikes against the enemy and stuff like that without humans even being on board that thing.
Well, and the thing about it,
the military is becoming they're going to become a video game.
Yeah.
We're already doing it with drones.
Yeah,
they're flying the drones out of Huachuca, and they're
right.
all the way over in Afghanistan.
That's what I was going to bring up, was the fact that the current drones, the big, huge ones that are flying from Kansas to Afghanistan, dropping ordnance or doing surveillance, whatever, right? They're coming from here, going there already. And they never leave the States, right? The operator never leaves it, just controlling it. The scary part, which, I guess the difference, right? So a lot of people could say, well, why is this a big deal? They're already flying drones. They're doing this stuff. The drones have a limited amount of weight because of their size and to be able to carry. But now when you're talking about, you can, Black Hawks, like if they're going to start upgrading this to some of the large cargo, capabilities where, I'm sure a lot of people with all the Veterans Day stuff have been seeing, the Marines Uber, right? They got a helicopter pulling an MRAP and going to drop it down. And when you start being able to remotely pilot these large capacities, now you're able to haul in, if there's boots on the ground, they can bring massive amounts of supplies and equipment and that kind of stuff. And I think that is a very good point. What you had mentioned was being able to conduct larger strikes or larger resupplies, or, whatever their use that they need for it at the time, without the risk of losing airmen, soldiers. We don't lose any personnel, because that can bring in equipment, it can bring in supplies, it can conduct strikes, and there's nobody on board.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money lost if it gets shot down or a malfunction or whatever, but the equipment is replaceable. The human lives are not.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that. Now, what makes me nervous is they're doing this with troops in the back. So,
I want to know who was the guys who said, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on that Black Hawk.
Like,
There's no freaking way.
no.
There's no freaking way I'd be on a Black Hawk.
I'm trying to think, like, is there a time that I could consume enough cold snacks I would agree to that? And I don't think there is.
Yeah.
That whole unnerving, like, it freaked me out to find out when they started doing this, like, autonomous Ubers, right?
Yeah.
You could get into a freaking taxi cab that's going to drive you around the town.
And there's nobody in it driving. Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And here recently, I actually had someone telling me that, yeah, they witnessed autonomous semis. They seen it with their own eyes. The semi pulls in. There is not a driver in the seat. There's not a driver in it. Like, one of them was a day cab. So you can see, like, there was no way there was a human hiding, and this semi pulls into a loading dock.
Hello, Judy Herman. Glad you're here. Hey, Don got her some free Coltons today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Dog catcher.
Bragg books, what my son called it, as he kept all the Scholastic and Community Scouting Award certificate as he applied for scholarships. Yeah.
A brag book, yeah. Yeah. There's Donna over there saying, and thanks to all the veterans. Thank you, Donna.
Autonomous flights is not a new concept. We don't take a bigger risk letting our wives or children drive us around. Okay, that's fair, Jesse. Like, it's
yeah. All right. So let's see. Oh, big news, guys. We're finally in the Army, finally doing what the Marines have been doing for years, decades. The Army is dropping the female drill sergeant hat, and it's going to switch to the singular headgear as the male drill sergeants in the Army. Now, the Marines have been doing this, and I think those female drills, they look like badasses. Okay, I've worn the round brown. Okay, and I hated those green boonie caps that they used. The female drills wore. The Bush hat and its upturned brim that once set female drill sergeants apart is being retired as part of the Army's move towards a unified look for those in the iconic role as drill sergeants. The change to the wide and flat male campaign hat goes into the effect on January 2nd, 2026, and affects both active duty and reserve female drill sergeants. It was first publicized Sunday in a Reddit post and was confirmed Tuesday by an Army spokesperson or spokesman. The Army said the transition away from separate hats was in the works prior to the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on September 30th policy speech to the military brass announcing gender-neutral physical fitness standards based on a male level. The Army Uniform Board recommended the change, which was approved by the service chief of staff, according to the message post on Reddit. The change was made because vendors had problems meeting the service quality standards the Army had set or had said. So I think it's a great thing. Okay. I think it's an absolutely awesome thing. Stop spending money on wearing two different hats. Just wear the one. Like I said, the Marines have been doing this forever. Okay. And I don't see a reason why we shouldn't have gone to this a long time ago. Now, I don't know what the drills in the Air Force wear, I don't know. I've never witnessed or seen, um, boot camp at the Holiday Inn down in Texas uh, for the Air Force. I don't know. You know.
I think they
They,
upgraded the Holiday Inn Express now. They can get the
oh, is
suite.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, they double them up in the suites now.
So I think that's a good thing. What do you think?
No, absolutely. Actually, when I had read that and I was going through it, I guess obviously being in the Marine Corps, our male female drill instructors it's same uniform. I mean, other than like the females would wear the skirts, at time for the dress uniform stuff, right? But the campaign cover, that was known. Like that was a very distinguished. It didn't matter. I mean, I went to San Diego, so I didn't have to deal with seeing, the female drill instructors.
Right.
But for those that went to Paris Island, you knew, hey, you're dealing with a drill instructor now. Like if you walked up to him as a recruit or something, like it's a very significant piece of gear, right? A headgear that who you're dealing with. And so I actually had to go back because I guess I didn't realize that the female, like I'd seen that cover before, but I never put two and two together because I never went through Army boot camp as to why there was two separate ones. But no, absolutely, I think that, and I think that it's good that the Army came out with a statement saying, hey, this was in place before Pete come along and said, hey, we're going to change it to a one standard. Like, and I think all the branches, like Pete finally come out and made it official to the public, like, look, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But from what I'd seen, what I've read, what I've watched, all the branches were basically looking at going that way anyways. Was like, hey, we're gonna do this one standard, we know it's coming. They got warned before he did the speech, they knew the orders were coming. But yeah, I mean, for somebody to be in that position, it needs to be a one standard, that way anybody around, it reminds me of like growing up as a kid, right?
Yeah.
You knew if there's an adult, don't be stupid because they're going to correct you. It doesn't matter if it's your parents or whoever, like how I grew up was, it didn't matter if they were an adult, they had every right to correct you, and they would. You know what I mean? So you try not to act a fool around any of the adults. Hey, I'm going to hold this for when they're not looking. And I think that same concept applies, right? You're not going to try to do some things stupid. Now, I remember being at Benning, and I remember seeing like some of the major differences between Marine boot camp and Army boot camp. Loud cell phones on Sundays, and PX privileges unsupervised, and different things that were like, what are you talking about? That's unheard of. Like, you're at boot camp. But that's the differences between the branches, is what's allowed, what's not. So it takes a little bit of that transition. But you knew no matter what, hey, if they had that campaign cover on,
yeah,
mind your P's and Q's, which you should do anyways. But sometimes you wander and you think, maybe I want to do things my own way.
Yeah. Hey, Judy, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to fathom how the Navy would have anything to do with Medicare.
Yeah, they're not even connected.
Yeah,
not at
so
all.
I think it's a scam.
I guarantee
that's a scam.
Yeah, that guy's he's part of the Taliban.
Yeah,
they
have nothing to do with that.
They're
they
totally
don't have nothing to do with TRICARE. They wouldn't have a say-so in TRICARE at all. And later, after we get done with what we have to say, I'm going to tell you something about TRICARE you may not know about. Okay, and it may piss you off. Yeah. Let's see. So
in
the semis.
Yeah, so who I don't know the answer to that. How it was explained to the person telling me about this was for the load dock stuff, was these autonomous ones pull up and they have like a parking space designated in the parking lot for them to stage themselves. They stage there. and then supposedly an actual human driver is the one that brings them into the dock. And so I'm only to assume, guys, so take it for what you want, is that there's going to have to be a human that fuels it.
Yeah.
They're not, at least not released for public, that advanced in the technology of it. Now, I do know there's warehouses that drivers pull up to, because I do have a lot of family that are still truck drivers. There's a lot of big corporations that they pull up to the dock. There's no humans. Like, they get out, they open their doors, they back up to the dock, and it's all loaded on automated forklifts, and it's a preset load. They have all these scan codes, and it loads it, and the driver pulls off, closes his doors, and takes the load. Like, they have that entire interaction, not seeing one human the whole time.
The Space Force it's set up kind of like the Marine Corps to the Navy. Okay. So Space Force does fall under the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Okay. So yeah, that they do their basic down in Lackland, in Texas. All Air Force, all Air Force enlisted that I know of go there.
Oh, you see Byron's comment about went to school at Shepherd Air Force Base. They didn't even have to clean their weapons after qualifying at the rifle range.
Wow.
Well, when they stay at the Hilton, why would they have to clean a weapon? They might get dirty, and then their white sheets are going to get, gunpowder on them. And
I remember sitting there on concrete, cleaning weapons, saying, "How in the hell am I going to get that shit out of there?"
Yeah, that's crazy. There's Patrick, cuddly Texan, popping in, saying hey to everybody.
Hey, look who's here. Major's in the house.
She's in the house, actually, so.
So much.
Stop watching so much corn. Going up north, you see a lot of it.
Yeah. TRICARE is for the active duty service members, retirees, and their families. So, yeah, the two aren't. Oh. Want to make sure we got everybody's. They got any questions? All right. So.
Patrick said he saw them doing touch and goes with the F4s a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
Nice. So yeah, another we're talking about this tech stuff, right? And everything going in there. So the Marine Corps is actually offering enlistment bonuses, up to $15,000 to enter tech fields and serve longer first contracts, which in the times that I've seen them offer, so the Marine Corps offering an enlistment bonus is pretty rare. And it is typically only offered into a highly technical, low manpower, but they need more people in it type of MOS.
Right.
So that goes
same thing in the Army.
Yeah, and those MOSs are typically a longer contract.
Well, I think when I did a deep dive on this, when you enlist in the military, it's 8 years. It's 8 years.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how much time you spend on active duty depends on how much time you're going to spend in the individual ready reserves, or you go straight into the reserves. You can do either or. You can go into the reserves, like our friend Denise, she did, or you can go into the individual ready reserve. Okay. So that's one of two things that you can do. What this is saying, and Jason's going to read it to you, is that instead of coming in and just doing 3 years, they're going to make you do, because of the bonus in the technical field, 4 to 6 years of your 8 years. Okay. So, or you can do the whole thing, re-enlist, and stay in even longer. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I've seen that even when I was in. There was guys that went into like some of the optics, instrument and optics repair tech guys would go in, and they actually signed a 6-year contract because they're schooling. That's the other part of it. When they have to go to a school that could be a year or more longer. They typically are trying to keep all the schools down to a year or less, or even less than that, really, for the Marine Corps. But a year is about the maximum that they really want you to be in school. So because you're in training for that long, they're going to make you sign a 5 or 6 year contract where you're active duty. And then you'll do the rest of that 8 years as like individual ready reserve or go into the reserves. So that part of it really isn't too new. But I'm just knowing and there's an enlistment bonus because that's pretty rare for the Marine Corps. They are tightwads with their money.
yeah.
And they just expect the fact that you love the Marine Corps that much that I just want to keep going. So the Marine Corps is offering recruits thousands of dollars to enlist in certain technology career fields and to commit to longer initial contracts. They sent that out via an administrative message this week. The largest bonuses would go to recruits who agree to enter cyber and cryptological operation jobs or electronics maintenance roles. Um, Recruits willing to take on these roles will receive a $15,000 signing bonus as the Corps looks to bolster its technological capabilities, which officials see as critical on the modern battlefield.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing that I'm going to throw out there for a note of it, right? And I'm sure all branches do it this way, but I can only speak specific. Mike can back me up if they do the same thing in the Army, and I imagine they do. Is that $15,000 isn't given to you on day one? You've got
No.
to make it through boot camp. You've got to make it through your schooling. That 15 grand doesn't hit until you're at your first duty station,
Yeah.
and then you look at getting that. And I've heard some of them actually do it as a spread out payment sometimes.
Yeah. Well,
But
what the Army does is when you graduate your AIT, okay, you get 50% of your bonus package. In the Army, they go up to $20,000 for certain fields. Like high voltage electricians, they don't even do their AIT on a military base. They go up somewhere in Connecticut or someplace to General Electric, and they train for 1 year. It's a 1-year course.
Yeah.
And you could flunk out at any time during that 1 year and you don't get your bonus. Okay. But once you get your bonus, you get 50%. And then over the next, whatever it says in your contract, it'll be spread out. Each year you'll get a bonus until it's paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that sounds about right. I never got one, so I can't speak personally on it. I mean, I got a re-enlistment bonus one time out of all the times I re-enlisted. And that was a one lump sum payment. But re-enlistments work different than enlistments. So but yeah, so I just wanted to throw that note. Anybody watching that might think about, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm going to switch and I'm going to go to the Marine Corps and get me one of these, $15,000 right off the bat. But there's fine print to it, guys. You don't just, hey, I'm going to hand you this check, and you gotta actually make it.
Yep. Hey, we want to say hello to Juneau Acres Homestead.
There
Welcome.
they are.
How are y'all doing?
They've been having some animals giving lots of birth over there.
Yeah. Hey, so everybody's heard of the Wounded Warrior Project. Okay. And everybody's heard of this people not getting, I want my SNAP money. I want my money. Okay. Like they actually earned it. But the Wounded Warrior Projects gets millions upon millions upon millions of dollars worth of corporate sponsorship, rich people giving them money, all kinds of stuff. Okay, they write grants, they get all this money to help out the Wounded Warrior Project. Okay, but the Wounded Warrior Project has provided $2 million in grants to food programs helping veterans and military members, okay, meaning veterans, active duty, so on and so forth. Wounded Warrior Project announced a $2 million in emergency grants to food assistance programs for veterans and military families impacted by the federal government shutdown. That includes free groceries, commissary gift cards, and prepared meals from food pantries. The nonprofit, which advocates for post 9/11 veterans, said the dollars will support 6 organizations with missions to provide direct support to veterans, active duty service members, and their families. Okay, so thank you, Wounded Warrior Project, for stepping up and helping out our veteran community for those who are in need. Now, we did hear that the vote was 60 to 40. 8 Democrats did side, and I think they were picked and planned to make this thing go, so they don't look like, oh, you know, these 8 people, and the people who are running this, I don't know, whoever was holding the tail of the donkey when when they were screwing over America. I don't know why they did it that way, but they did it. But here's the stipulation. They did it, they said, because the GOP promised to do a vote on the Affordable Care Act extension in January. Okay? If it happens, I don't know, you know, but that's what they said they were promised. But what this does is it opens the government back up until the original date of the CR to November 21st, when all this shit happens again. Okay? They're going directly by what the original clean CR said at the beginning of October, and the new date, because there's only an extension, clear extension, till November 21st, and then they'll go through this whole nut roll again. So get ready, guys, because I'm sure somebody on the left is going to get pissed off, and something's going to happen, like it always does with our children of the corn up in Washington, D.C. Okay. So, yeah. But thank you, Wounded Warrior Project, for the assistance for those in need that have served our nation.
And they're such a great organization. I think that the first time that I got to see anything with them was when they actually started establishing barracks facilities on the military bases for the wounded warriors coming back. And I know the individual units had done that, right? So the individual branches did it where they had wounded warrior battalions. So, you know, if you went overseas or somebody had went over, they got hurt, they got injured, they come back, they can't go back to the regular unit. And honestly, the sad part about it, guys, is it's a numbers game. But it helped those service members out personally with being able to have direct doctor care, to have a better facility to stay in than, you know, hey, this guy just got his legs taken off and they're assigning him a 3rd floor barracks room. Not acceptable. You know, there's not elevators. Well, not in the Marine Corps barracks or any elevators. You know, so they don't have access. How do they get to their room on the 3rd floor when they're in a dang wheelchair and stuff? So to see those come in, but then on top of it, what I had seen was the Wounded Warrior Project came in and they started doing some supplement with it, trying to get them additional sponsorships, additional help in rehab, especially for the guys that once they were rehabbed enough that the military said, okay, we've got you as far as we can. You're to a spot that you can take care of yourself, or you have a support that can help take care of you, whatever. Now we're going to transition you out, right? You're going to get your medical retirement, medical separation, whatever the case was based on their injuries. And that's kind of where it was a trade-off from going from Wounded Warrior Battalion over to they got that connection with the Wounded Warrior Project and was able to continue rehabilitation. And a lot of them, they turn in and they go back and they work for a Wounded Warrior Project, or start a Wounded Warrior program within their hometown where they're going to move back to, and support other veterans that are kind of going through the same thing or something close to it or whatnot. So yeah, it's been really big. And I know that a lot of people that dig into a lot of financials, right? There's been a lot of bad publicity about Wounded Warrior Project and where the money goes and how does it go. And that ain't for us to decide.
Yeah.
I've personally witnessed the program being an amazing program.
All right.
And it doesn't matter where you go and how you do it, right? There's somebody always trying to make $1 off it, no matter what they do. Like, that's just the American mindset of what can I do? How can I do it? And more importantly, how do I make money from this?
Yeah.
And when the money can go back into the program itself is amazing.
Right.
But the amount of support that they've gotten, they're allowed to do this and go in and step up, and in the scheme of things, $2 million doesn't seem like a lot when you're looking at how many people, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
To dump, from an organization and say, hey, we're going to support these 6 organizations that we know, right? They vet everything that they're going to support themselves and mention, and make sure the money is going to those actual veterans and active duty service members. And
it's kind of odd in my mind, because I've worked with Wounded Warrior Project when I was the outdoor rec director in Fort Carson, Colorado. Because we used to they would pay us to take veterans out on, and teach them skiing and all that kind of stuff. Because if you have no legs, doesn't mean you can't ski, guys. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And we used to do that for Wounded Warrior Project. But what was, I guess, the shocking part for me was from an organization that's always saying, hey, can you donate to us? Can you donate to us? Can you donate to us? To an organization says, hey, let me give back. Now, granted, you don't have to worry about it because they're 501c3 tax exempt organization. Okay. But you see them giving it back. That was what was shocking to me, because usually these ones are just gimme, 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 gimme.
right.
Because there's a lot of people that work for Wounded Warrior Project. There's a lot of people that make money. That's their salary in key positions and stuff like that for it. They do have a lot of volunteers, a lot of volunteer doctors, all kinds of stuff that work with Wounded Warriors and stuff like that. But thank you, Wounded Warrior Project, for that. And to answer your question, Byron, they are treating me absolutely the way I want to be treated. They are in contact with me all the time. We did get the VA accepted my claims that we put in together. They have turned it all over to QTC, and QTC is making me appointments. I'm in return to that, sending all my appointments and what they're for and all that stuff to VetCom. VetCom has flooded me with videos that they have made on specific for each SAM I have to go to. They have a video that they give you, and it takes you step by step by step. It shows you the checklist, what they're going to ask you off the checklist, what you should say, like in the beginning. Hey, how you doing today? The doctor always asks you, hey, how you doing today? Oh, I'm doing okay. Oh, really? Let me write down. He said he's doing okay. When the video tells you, you respond to them what it feels like on your worst freaking day.
Yeah.
And they got characters and they got plots, and they're telling you from start to finish. Okay, they're not telling you to lie, but your CMP exam should be based off your worst day on any question that they give you.
Yeah.
And not your best day. Okay.
And I think that that's the biggest, I don't know, I guess the disillusion.
Really
Yeah, that's the biggest disillusion amongst people, non-veterans that are looking at veterans, right? Like we got questioned in a video the one day, because we were doing, I think, a thrifting day or something, and somebody had put a comment on there. They're like, "Why do you have a handicap placard in your car? Like, what is that all about? Like, you don't look very handicapped to me." And I'm like, "Well, one, I rated it, right? I am 100% disabled through the VA. The state of Arkansas said, hey, because you have that rating, you're going to get a handicap placard." I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, I don't use the thing. I really don't. It just happened to be hanging in the car that day. Was not very aware and conscious of it. But what a lot of people don't realize, and what a lot of veterans don't think about, is 9 out of 10 days, you might feel great. But that one day might be an important day that you're stuck in bed. And that's basically what we had told that person that made the comment in the video was, you don't see, I'm not going to put on video the days that I'm laid in bed for 3, 4, 5 days because I can't get up. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I can do, but I'm not going to show you the 4 or 5 days of recovery it takes because I did that. And so I think that that's a big misconception, with a lot of people, and a big reservation for people wanting to go in, because they're like, well, I do feel good today. Like I do it all the time. I'm 45 years old. I walk into a VA clinic and most of the time I'm the youngest person in there other than staff. But when you're looking at all the other veterans that are in there, I live in a retirement community. And I'm like, what am I doing in here? I've got 25 years before I'm supposed to be the old crusty bastard that walks in here with a walker and a cane but why? Why do we need to wait that long to get the services and the care that we need, till it's almost too late, where we're already miserable, our bodies are already beat up? And I think that that's the big push. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff come up, especially on Facebook, right, of these congressional hearings. The VFW just did a whole bunch of stuff with them about, getting better care for the veterans.
Yeah.
And getting it in there. But a lot of guys are so hesitant because they're like, well, I'm still young. I got out. I don't have these problems. And we see it every day with our own friends, right? Well, I'm not that bad. A couple, 2, 3 days, I'll lay up in the bed and then I can get doing everything else the rest of the time. That's not acceptable. Go get some care. Like, we're not saying every veteran is going to go in and get 100% rating. Like, that's where the VA, that's where these other companies, organizations are going to come in and say, hey, based on your limitations, you don't rate 100%. Okay, fine. Maybe later on you will, but right now you're not going to be at that.
Right.
But you do have to keep in mind and put an account when you go to these CMP exams and when you're talking to these doctors, you're not lying. You're not, you have those symptoms. If you have symptoms enough that it keeps you from getting out of bed for a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever the length is, they need to know that. And that's the time you need to tell them. I've seen a lot of comments thrown out about that.
So I will tell you that I did all my paperwork all my work, everything to get to 90% over the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I was at a point and I'm just going, had 2 hip surgeries and they're saying, oh, that has nothing to do with your service. Your shoulders had nothing to do with your service. And I'm thinking, hey, it's right there in my medical records. And so I seen the lady from VetCom, the CEO. She was on a Veterans Info Tap, is another YouTube channel. And I listened to her and I'm going, because she was explaining that a lot of veterans can only get so far on their own because they don't know how to write to get the VA to pay attention to you and to your condition. Not saying they're writing it for you, but what I'm doing now for the things that, like my hips, I had to write. I wrote a 2-page essay really on my hips, my back, all that kind of stuff. Every doctor I went to, because I have a copy of my medical records, I went through all 1,300 and something pages of that thing. But you don't know how to write it. So I wrote it in my own words. Then they take that and they actually put it in English for you. Like a smart person wrote it instead of me.
Right.
And I was reading it, and there's no lies in there, but it's the way, because they know what the VA needs to hear and how they need to hear it. Okay. And so,
this brings up a point. I'm just sitting here thinking about it, right? We did a lot of driving. Obviously, we're always driving, right? And we found a podcast and we started listening to it. And it's a lot of the stuff they talk about on it was, AI integration and all this technology and everything that's coming in now, right? Everybody knows, some sort of AI like Chat GPT comes in, right?
Yeah.
A lot. They're talking about using it in schools and in law firms and, going through colleges, using all this stuff. I wonder, out of curiosity, because as we're talking about this, all of a sudden it pops in my brain. What would Chat GPT or, Grok, whichever platform you want to use it from, I wonder how they would write it out. Like, if you could load some of that information and be like, hey, here's my medical diagnosis. How would I present this? Like, I wonder if it's even programmed in the AI to go in there. Like, I'd be curious, is that a source for somebody that's trying to do it on their own? They don't have the funds to front, any of the paid services. Because unfortunately, yes, it is very true that, I did it. I used a paid service to get outside doctors that weren't in the normal system to be able to get my claim. You're doing the same thing. But I wonder, like, I'm curious, I might have to play with this a little bit, is put some of those medical conditions in and see what can that AI write out.
Yeah.
Like, that might be the next tool for other veterans, like, throwing it out there. If any of you have tried it or some of you are trying to go through, try it and let us know what comes up with it. Like,
I seen a kid that he was a college kid, and he is testing that thing called Copilot. I don't know if you've seen Google's Copilot or whatever that is. He's actually getting paid to go to college to get a degree, and he's strictly using Copilot. Okay. He does his reports, he does all that stuff, his essays, everything, and then he shoves it into Copilot, and it makes him sound a hell of a lot smarter than he really is.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe, is it another form of cheating, or is it, hey, you did it in your own words, it's not writing it for you, it's taking what you input and coming back out. Instead of English, it comes back in English.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is because you have to type and put something into these
Yeah.
AI, right? You have to put something in, and then you've got to be able to type like an expectation. Hey, take this and make me sound smarter.
Yeah.
Put this into a college essay format or whatever it is. There's Tony. Good to see you, brother. And I did see you. Jonesy showed up in here too.
Yeah, he did.
Appreciate you all the way over there in Tasmania.
Saying thank everybody for their service.
But yeah, I just curious, you know what I mean? Because it still takes, even though it's AI, it takes human input. And something they've been talking about with these different podcasts that we had been listening to was it's so open right now.
Right.
Because in order to make it smarter, it needs the human interaction for it to learn, for it to, do its thing, right? All mind-boggling information it has. But yeah, I would be super curious, how accurate is it? Because I know, like, we've talked to some people that have done it, used it for, like, say, legal stuff. And that was one of the things that they had found was not 100% of the information that it's going to provide you is accurate.
Right.
It bases it off everything that's on the internet. Well, if Wikipedia says one thing, that might not be truthful, but Wikipedia is full of stuff that other people have put on there. It's not the all tell all. So,
hey, before we get to our final feel good story, I want to tell you what came out in military.com. It says most TRICARE health plan costs for military and retiree households will go up between 2% and 3%. Remember, you're getting a 2.8%, but it's increasing to 3% for your health care costs in 2026, with some steeper increases of over 15% in prescription drugs. The military health system announced the new rates November 7th. Many TRICARE Prime and TRICARE Select users will see an increase in their annual enrollment fee and deductibles, with additional rise in co-payments for medical services. Some of the biggest increases in 2026 will be to the monthly premium for TRICARE Reserve Select, and as in 2025, the TRICARE young adult members. So you're going to be seeing a 2 to 3% increase and a 15% increase in your prescription drug under the TRICARE program. Okay. I seen that today.
wow.
Time to put it in there, but I wanted you guys to know that. For more information, go to military.com or go to TRICARE. Whether you're in the East, the West, we're in the West. So check that out and see how much yours is going to be going up. Mine is a monthly deductible out of my military retirement check.
Mm-hmm.
Every month I pay, and it's an allotment that goes to there. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go in there and change that allotment to whatever it is, so I make sure Terry's being taken care of. So
gonna have to look into that. Yeah, I hadn't seen that, but that's kind of the big thing right now, right? Is healthcare costs.
yeah.
That's supposedly what caused the government shutdown and all this stuff was the healthcare costs and who it was provided for. So, yeah, craziness. But how convenient. They're going to give everybody a pay raise and then increase healthcare costs.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The way it goes, right?
Right? Well, dude, I think I'd seen somebody put it in there earlier, something about, that what they give it, they'll take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Government giveth and the healthcare taketh away.
Yeah, big print giveth and the little print taketh away. That's what it was. Jesse had posted that right. Where was that at? Right there. And I know we weren't talking about healthcare costs, but it still fits. So, all right. So the last, yeah, they made us start paying and won't stop raising. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's a whole nother show right there.
Yeah.
So finally, after 6 decades, guys, a Marine Vietnam veteran finally got awarded a Silver Star. Lance Corporal Milo W. Plank Jr., a Marine Corps veteran, was awarded the Silver Star for his bravery on August 18th, 1965, during Operation Starlight. Plank's platoon landed south of Chu Lai, Vietnam, and initially encountered no resistance. Later, machine gun fire hit Plank's M48 tank, wounding the loader. Peering out from the driver's hatch, Plank saw a Viet Cong fighter aiming at his comrades. He quickly neutralized the threat with his .45 caliber pistol, took out 2 more enemy soldiers. Discovering a trench full of Viet Cong fighters, Plank emptied his pistol into it and warned fellow Marine Corporal Robert O'Malley, who bravely engaged and eliminated the threat, saving many lives. May 29th of 2024 in Boise, Idaho, Marine Colonel William Chairsell awarded the Silver Star to the now 77-year-old Plank. Despite injuries and destroyed tanks, Plank's team continued their mission, exemplifying extraordinary bravery during the Vietnam War.
That was actually, I missed, I don't know why I put 24 in there. It's actually 2025.
No, okay.
I don't know why I put 4 in there. Because I guess 4 was right next to 5 when I was hitting it.
They happen, like one follows the other or something. So
yeah. But I'm going to tell you something. When you dig deeper in this, they went to a reunion, and this guy, Robert O'Malley, I believe it was his son, was there, and he said he had, because he wanted to meet this guy. The guy Plank, because in his dad's diary there was a bunch of him talking about this guy and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And so his son wanted to meet him because, for whatever reason, and he was. This was a while back, and he had been put in for the Silver Star years ago, but he didn't get it. Somehow processing whatever happened. And he said, no, my dad got his Silver Star on the same day for that same incident. And the son, who his wife is a lawyer, they went back and researched it and all that stuff. And because of O'Malley's son, being the person who was pushing and pushing and pushing, the Marine Corps opened it back up. And in fact, in the historical documents and stuff like that, how he was overlooked. And that's how he received it, because another man's son, the father who was on the ground with him, O'Malley, his son, wanted to do something nice or do something deserving to a guy that helped save his dad and bring him back from Vietnam also. So, hey, it's kind of a feel-good story. I wanted to put that at the end, and I put it there for Jason, since Jason is a Marine. And like I said, guys, you know,
I love the fact that it was not only a Marine, but he was a tanker.
Yeah.
And me being in the tank community, and
as soon as I read it.
Oh yeah, no, I read it. I was like, you know what, you nitpicked this perfect. I loved every bit of it. But that is so common, right? And I remember discussions of going to Iraq in 03. And none of us went there with the expectation. I didn't even know what a combat action ribbon was.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it took, it was like, but obviously being in country, people start talking about it. They're like, hey, we're going to get, and there was a huge discussion on it because per the order of how it's written, you have to receive contact and return fire, right? To technically rate a combat action ribbon in tanks. Now, they're definitely the M1A1s are a whole lot different than the old M48s and even the M60s that the M1A1 replaced. The driver's in his own hole, and he's buttoned up. He never, like, unless you're in a situation like Plank was, and the only time that I'd really seen it was a couple times when tanks went down. They're immobile, so now the driver needs to open his hatch, and then he has a chance. But typically, you're just the driver. That's your whole job. You're stuck down in your hole. You don't come out. You don't do anything. It's the 3 crewmen in the turret that are doing all the engaging.
Yeah.
So what the big discussion was, those 3 up in the turret, because they returned fire once they got fired upon, rated a combat action ribbon. But the driver, because he technically did not return fire, he was driving the vehicle, didn't rate it. And it threw a huge stink through the whole community as to how, like, they're the same vehicle, they're in the same fight. And just kind of like Plank and O'Malley here was, Plank's the one that's seen it. He radioed up to O'Malley, said, hey, there's guys down there. Go ahead and grab the machine gun. My 45's out. Let's lay waste to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, in his case, he did return fire.
Yeah.
And he's the one that called it up, and it's awesome that he had done that. But yeah, it was, and in the end, they kind of did. They blanketed it, said, hey, this vehicle, so all the crewmen in that vehicle are going to receive this award. For all the right reasons, because it's like, how do you nitpick? But when you read an order and policy in a vast majority of the military, it's very black and white. There's orders, there's policies, there's everything that explains how you're going to qualify for something. But once again, this was Vietnam, right? Look at all the Vietnam veterans that got overlooked for a lot of things, especially VA healthcare, when they got back. But then the amount of awards and stories, like I'm still blown away to read or to run into some of the Vietnam vets and to hear the stories of what they did. Like it's nothing short of amazing what these guys did and how fitting today, right? To talk about this type of stuff on Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And, we might have went through our own skirmishes and our own battles and all this stuff. But then talk to a generation ago, talk to 2 generations ago, for the ones that are still around, they went through way worse than we did.
Oh, yeah.
We were on gravy deployments every time we did something compared to the stuff that they had to go through.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue that way. Like this next generation, right? They're pushing for the technological, that word always gets me. But, it's all modern warfare. It's use what you have, which is technology. So a lot of these guys, where we're talking about living in the desert for months at a time, can't shower for weeks, we can't do this. A vast majority of them will never.
And you know what? That's like 2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Being in the desert and being in the jungle, 2 totally different worlds.
Oh, yeah.
We went on vacation to Thailand. Okay. And we went up by the Cambodian border. And I was in flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. Okay. And it was like, my body was raining. The humidity was so bad. And I stopped and I thought, I'm going, holy crap, how would you like to be a soldier in Vietnam wearing a uniform, wearing your flak vest, all your gear, and you're traipsing through the jungle, and you got to stay there, what, 3 years or whatever the length of the tour was? You would go insane,
Yeah.
right? You would go insane. And I'm in flip-flop shorts and a t-shirt thinking, I'm about to die. It's so freaking hot here. And then I had to stop and think about what our soldiers went through over there for the length of time that they served. And then they went back and they got treated like dirt going back. Like,
Yeah.
why the hell did why didn't I go to Canada? Because, I went over there and freaking, good God. It astounds me how our Vietnam veterans were treated. It is just a shame. That is a mar on America, for no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The way they treated it, so. But it was during the season, the decade of love, peace, tranquility, psychedelics, mushrooms, all kinds of stuff.
You just stay high. You don't worry about it.
Free love, and all that other garbage, So anyway, guys, we want to thank you guys for coming in. Every Tuesday we go live. Hopefully we bring you something on the side of the military life that you can enjoy, that you may learn something about or take away from. If you are a veteran and you have not signed up for VA healthcare, the link is in the description. There is also a 188 number in there where you can call the VA to start your VA claims. There it is, VA rep contact number right there. And please, please, please call them. Find out how you can start your claims now. Okay? Yeah. You have earned them. And I'm going to tell you something. It takes some work. Ask Anthony over there at Country Road Cure. It takes some work on your part, but in the long run, you've earned it. Okay? And nobody will fault you. It's not about, this or that. It is about what you have earned. And America should be taking care of you for giving us the country that we live in. So, guys, I want to thank you for coming in. Remember, be kind to one another. Help somebody in need. And always, always thank a vet. Closing words, brother?
Just my normal, guys. Appreciate every single one of you that have come in here every week that we do this. I know a lot of you are sharing this out. We just ask that you keep sharing it out. Let's get some more veterans in there. We do open mics, even when we don't do the open mics. A lot of times we drop that link in there. Don't be afraid. Come up. Tell us your story. Give us your opinion on the subject that we're talking about. And then if you've got more subjects, our emails are always in the description. Shoot us an email. Give us some ideas of things that you want to learn about, maybe things that you want to talk about, things that need to get out there that others might not know. But yes, it's always every single day, think a veteran, because without our veterans, we couldn't be who we are today. The world is crazy right now. Definitely crazy even here on the homeland. But know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Something good has to come out of it. We've got to keep that faith and keep rolling on it. So, and you guys are going live tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. Yeah. I hope. Terry's going to the doctor, see how she feels afterwards, but we should be going live tomorrow.
Yeah. We had a little change this week. We had to, Brother David called and said, hey, I got stuff going on. I'm on the road. So we did our weekly live this past Monday. just put a video out from the wedding weekend. So if you guys, shameless plugs, but if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But then, so Thursday, we will not be going live at the White Rock Homestead. But David from Come On is going to go in that time slot. So go give them all them blue hearts, show them that love. And then keep sharing this out. Get this information out. Put it on your Facebook, your Twitter, all the social medias. And let's get some more people involved.
And if you haven't heard, Ridge Life has switched with Drifting Dreamers 5.
Yes.
Drifting Dreamers 5 will now be live on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. And Ridge Life will be going live on Family Night. And that he'll be on at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, Central Standard Time from now on. So just a little program note for y'all.
Yeah. Got to throw it out there.
Yeah. Check out David at Come On. Yep. He's doing a lot of good things over there. All right, guys. Hey, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Hey, we love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye now.